Salute is a program for and about men and women who have served our country. Our program includes news about the laws that affect veterans, information on benefits and services, and news from veterans organizations. And now, our host, Bob Peters.
Hello and welcome to Salute. I'm your host, Bob Peters, and with me today I have the honor of having a lovely young lady named Shawnda Davis. I said that right?
You did say that right.
Yes, I did say that right. I met you at the Habitat Humanity dinner.
That's correct.
I guess your husband is involved there, you say?
Yeah, he's an attorney. He's one of the members on the board for Habitat. So we really like that foundation. So we try to support them. Yeah.
They're great. But we're here to talk about you.
Yep.
So you work at the Villages, you said?
Yep, at the VA, at the Villages. I'm a physical therapist.
Mm-hmm. And you're also a veteran.
Yep, Air Force.
All right.
Well, that's right. There we go.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. You told me you're a West Coast girl originally.
Yep, I was born in California, and then when I was 1, my mom took a vacation to Alaska and stayed for about 14 years. And
that's a long vacation.
A long vacation, yes. Yeah. Pretty productive vacation, I guess.
Yeah.
But it was a nice childhood, you know, clam digging and playing in the snow and that stuff here.
Is it really like long hours of dark and long?
It is. When I was little.
That's got to be weird.
It is. I was little. I remember seeing like little kids playing outside. I'm telling my mom, I want to go play outside. And she's like, it's midnight. Go back to bed. I mean, maybe not midnight, but it was like that. And you'd come home, get off the school bus. It's dark, and it just stayed dark. But there's a lot of fun things to do that doesn't require a lot of money. And it was good as a kid.
Snowmen,
fights. Igloos, snow fights, throwing snowballs at other people's cars and realizing you can get in a lot of trouble. Things like that.
So you graduated from high school there?
I actually moved to Washington.
You moved to Washington.
Last 3 years of my senior year, and then I graduated high school there.
And you joined the Air Force when?
I did a year college first, and then I decided life was starting off too slow. I needed to kickstart it. And my family, my dad had been in the Army, and so I joined the Air Force. Well, I was going to join the Marines, and my brother was a Marine, and he said, listen, join the Air Force. So I did.
Oh, so your father and your brother, so you come from
and
the
my
military.
Sister and my cousins and
Wow.
my grandfather, yes, long line.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So where did you enlisted in Washington? Or?
I did, and I went November 18th, and my cousin, she actually went into the Navy one day before me, November 17th, and off we went. And originally, I thought I wanted to be a cop, but I got lucky, and I was finance, because cops work a lot harder than the finance people do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you went to basic and?
Went to Lackland. Was it 6 weeks plus 0 week, because they lie to you. They don't tell you about 0 week. So
0 week?
0 week, yeah. You're not actually in the weeks yet. You're at 0 week, so then it's like 6.5, 7 weeks that you're there. And then you go on, and then I went to Shepherd in Texas for finance. And where they lie to you again. They're like, it is supposed to be 12 weeks of training, but it was 4 months. They didn't update it. And it was fun.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
In hindsight.
Yeah.
You remember the first day you went in, remember meeting your recruiter and all that?
I do, because you know, you're so used to making eye contact with everybody, and they're like, you're making eye contact, and then they get right in your face, and you learn really quick not to do that again. Yeah. You'll never forget that day.
Yeah.
Ever.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so you got into finance. Mm-hmm. That's what you did in college?
No, I think I wanted to be a political science. I changed my major so many times. I guess I was financially inclined. I don't know. I got lucky. And I went there, and then my first duty station was at Hill Air Force Base in Utah. I was there for 3.5 years. And then I got another kickstart, and I went to Korea for a year. And then Guam, and then I got out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which one did you like the best?
Guam.
Guam.
Guam, yeah. It was nice and sunny, and it's a beach, and you know, I was a sergeant then, so I got to live off base, and I had a view of the ocean, and that's a nice life.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
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 Well, when I was in, that was the one place you didn't want to go.
That's what I hear. I have so many people tell me about the snakes. I'm like, I never saw a snake ever. And that there was nothing there, and there was so much there. The people were really nice.
I heard there was a girl behind every tree. There just weren't any trees in Guam when I was in. I landed there, and I had a good friend of mine who served over there, but I landed there, but I never stayed there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept going to Thailand.
Oh, see, I heard good things about Thailand.
There's some good things about Thailand.
Yeah, I
Good
wanted
things about anything.
Yeah. We were supposed to go, some friends and I were supposed to go to Bali, but then 2 weeks before it got bombed and then it became on the restricted list. But from Guam, I was able to travel to Australia and on my own dime, but still, you know, it's a lot cheaper than flying from here to Australia. It was nice. I thought the Air Force was a great experience.
Yeah, I thought so too. Did you get a military hop, or you just have to?
No, I never did a hop. I was always nervous because you hear horror stories that you lose all your leave trying to do it.
Oh,
But-
I don't know.
Yeah, I never did it.
They flew me around a lot. Not that I asked them to, but they
Yeah.
flew me around a lot.
What did you do?
I was in the field maintenance squadron. Anything that loaded the plane, tested the plane, started the plane. I was on the flight line.
Yeah.
You know, a lot. But
So you're trying to stay
but we're
home.
not talking about me. We're talking about you.
We were always trying to be sent TDY, trying to go anywhere. I volunteered for anything. I know you're not supposed to. One rule of the military, never volunteer. But when it came to traveling, I volunteered.
So you brought a couple things along here. What is these?
I did. This is my award for I got Comptroller Airman of the Quarter for the whole Pacific Air Force from April to June 2003. So I thought that was kind of a good deal.
Get a big bonus.
No bonus. But I think I got a day off. That's a pretty big deal then, too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a nice plaque. And then, you go back and you find those old pictures, and I think this is Airman Leadership School here. When I graduated, so you can put on that extra stripe, extra bonus there with pay.
What did you call it?
Airman Leadership School.
Airman Leadership School.
4 to 6 weeks where you go, and then you learn how to be a boss.
Really?
Yeah, you go
As an
there.
airman?
Well, as a senior airman, because I already had my stripe to be
Oh,
a sergeant.
so you were
yeah.
E4.
Yeah, as an E4, and then I already had my stripe. I just had to complete the school first, and you dress up at the big event. They give you your stripes. It was nice. They didn't have that back then either.
I made Buck Sergeant. Well, you call it Senior Airman now. They changed the title. My third year, I was put up for staff, but I never got it. Somebody else got it, and I said, the problem I had with the Air Force, and they'll probably get in trouble for this, is that sometimes a person will get bypassed. I saw a lot of staff sergeants who were very good workers and everything, and the promotion would come up and they'd be bypassed. And once you got bypassed once or twice, you got bypassed all the time, it seemed.
Well, I'm sure they changed the process because when I was in, you tested. So based on your evaluations, but that was a smaller scale, and then you tested for your job. And if you met the criteria, they had so many slots and so many criteria, but it was a non-subjective ranking increase. Whereas I think Master Sergeant and above, it's a little bit more subjective and they choose, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've been in.
So when you went to all these, did they shuttle you around like on a C-141, or were you taking many military planes, or no?
Only once when I was in Kuwait, and I'm a bad Air Force veteran because I really don't know my planes. I only know the stealth from sight. I know, right? But just when we went to Kuwait, but most of the times they always put us on civilian flights.
When were you over there in Kuwait?
I was there in 2000, from February to April in 2000, and then again in 2003 from June to November.
So you were there after the invasion,
After 9/11?
No, before that, when they burned the oil fields and all that.
No, I was
When Saddam went in there.
after.
Yeah.
After, because you could see.
I was going to ask you that.
You could see the hangars. Yeah, I mean, on the air base, because the Air Force base was on an air base, and we could drive around and you could see the amount of damage, and there'd be gunshot wounds, and just when they came in, and yeah. Luckily, when I was there, Kuwait was relatively safe, but you could see that at one point.
Yeah, because they torched all the oil fields there.
Yeah, and the hangars were gone. Parts of it were left, and that's where their planes had been, and it was bad. Yeah.
So how long were you in Kuwait?
like 2 months and then 4 months the second time. The second time I was a sergeant so I could drive downtown. And I remember that we had certain places that were off limits, and my friend was driving, and I don't remember who was in the back, and all of a sudden she took a wrong turn, and we knew we were going where we were not supposed to go, and you never know what you're going to see. And so we had a choice that we can either turn around in, like, there was a median of sand on the highway and might get stuck, and we're in the middle of Kuwait in the dark, or we can reverse on the highway. And so we're like, okay, let's reverse it to get out of there. And we just reversed back, got off of that exit, went on our way. But female drivers.
Well, I'm glad you said it instead of me.
Hey, we had to make a choice, so that was the safest choice we came up with.
Imagine driving down the highway and here comes a car in reverse.
Yeah. Well, every time a car would come, we would like go forward again really slow. They'd go around us and we'd reverse it again. It didn't take that long. She went pretty fast.
So would you recommend the Air Force to?
I would.
You know, because we don't get a whole lot of lady veterans on this show. I put a call out there all the time, and, you know, we'd like to have some more people.
Yeah.
We've had some wonderful ladies on the show, and nurses, you know, and I had a young, I say young lady, I ran into her not too long ago, Olive the welder, who was a welder during World War II.
Wow.
And yeah, she's quite the lady. About 94, I think now. I shouldn't say that. Ladies don't like their age mentioned, do they?
Yeah. It was like 94, like 49, right?
Yeah.
You had it messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend it to people, especially when you're in college and you're not sure what you want to do, or if you don't want to go to college. And for my first duty station, I had a great group of friends. I'm still friends with them. We talk on Facebook. Like, I figure they're gonna be my friends for life, and that's what I hear from everybody. It's a good experience. You get to travel. You're young. What else are you doing, really? I went to school full time while I was in. I got out. I had a business degree. I used my GI Bill. I got my graduate degree in physical therapy, and then now I work at the VA. I bought back my military time. I'm moving closer to retirement. I mean, that's a good deal.
Yeah, you've made all the right moves.
I know. I could be a spokesperson because there's lots of bad moves I'm not going to tell you about.
Yeah, well. So at the VA, you're a physical therapist, and of course, obviously, you work on all veterans.
Yep.
Is pretty crowded there nowadays, or?
We are very crowded. I feel very lucky to work there. It's always great, especially I feel like no matter who comes through the door, I can always relate to them, you know, and it's great, and be like, well, what branch of service were you in? And we get to talk about that and hear so many great stories, or I get to hear about Guam, how it was, or how Korea was, or just anything. And I love my vets. I think it's an honor to work with them.
Well, yeah, and I tell a lot of people too, you know, once you're a veteran, there is a bond.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I guess if I'd gone to college, in my old college, you know, they keep, you know, but I didn't go to college, and the veterans I keep in contact with, and it's always a connection with veterans. I don't care if you were Air Force, Army, Navy, Marine, Coast Guard, whatever.
We just give each other a harder time.
Yeah.
I always say I can't help that I was smart enough to go in the Air Force.
Say, hey, it's being filmed now. Be careful. So you said you came from quite a few members in your family were military.
Yeah.
Yeah. During, would you say your grandfather? Or?
My grandfather was in, and I think he did like 18 months. And
well, we had to be in World War II.
I don't think he actually served overseas. You know, he was a lot of stateside with his mission, and then my dad did too, and he did go overseas. And then my sister was in the Army, and she was a pharmacy tech, and now used her GI Bill to become a pharmacist. So we've all utilized it and done quite well. And we have one cousin who's gonna, you know, stay in and get his retirement. You know, and as I'm getting older, I was like, that was a really smart move.
Yeah. Do you ever have second thoughts? So maybe I should have stayed in for. You did. What did you say you did? How many years?
5.5 years.
5.5.
As I'm getting older, I think like, oh, you know, I'd be really close. My best friend's actually still in the Air Force, and she's stationed in Hawaii now. And before that, it was Guam, and before that, it was Tampa, and before that, it was Germany. So I mean, she's had a really nice life and stations. And so she's 3 years away from retirement, and that sounds great. But then I like what I'm doing. I like where I'm at. So different priorities now. Yeah, but it was good while I was in.
Any particular moment you You remember other than basic? Because we all remember basic.
You know, I just feel like there's so many moments and times, and it's just hard. It's all kind of like blurred together. I did tell you my basic training story where I thought when they said heavyweight and summer weight, for some reason we were going to get tank tops. I don't know what I was thinking. Like what, you know, postmen wear, where they have the shorts and the lighter weight shirts. But I was smart enough not to say anything. I just took what I got and went on. Yeah, you learn quick.
Yeah. You did financing, but what did you do in Kuwait? I mean...
When I was in Kuwait, I did force protection, where you go around and you watch the third country nationals, because they have all these contractors come out there to do things to build up the airbase. But you want to make sure that they're not stealing information. A lot of those people they're not like anti-Americans. It's just that they're really, really poor. And so somebody comes up to them and says, hey, will you give me some information? It's not going to be a big deal. And they offer them like a year's salary. They're going to do it. So we'd go out there and we'd watch them and make sure they weren't doing anything. I actually think, I tell people it was the best training for parenthood ever, because you'd be watching 18 people and you'd have to know at all time what they were doing, where they were at. It trains you for like kids, because you're like, hey, but not saying that they were like children, but it was a fun experience. My best friend that I mentioned, who's now in Hawaii, the first time I met her was the first time I went to Kuwait, and we didn't get along. She was in charge of me, and I thought she had it out for me. And there was this duty that nobody wanted, and it was called the honey truck. And the honey truck came out,
yes.
and they cleaned out the sewage, right?
Yeah, it's a honey wagon.
Yeah. And so when you rode with the honey truck, you had to ride with them, and it was an awful duty to have, and it smelled. Well, twice I got it, and twice their supervisor would come, so I would ride with their supervisor, and we would do a convoy, so I got lucky. And then one time, she needed somebody to be on the honey truck, and she picked me. And this time there was going to be no supervisor, and I was kind of upset about it. But unfortunately, one of my peers got hurt, and he needed somebody to go with him to the hospital, and I got picked. So I got out of it, and I still harass her about that all the time, because I say she had it out for me. And, you know. But then I went to Korea, met up with her again, and we became really good friends. And that was like nice thing about the military. You keep on running into people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you still see them, or you find them, or they come TDY to Orlando or Tampa because of MacDill, and then you get to catch up with them, and you're never quite out of touch.
Yeah. You say, so you were in Kuwait, and there'd be a contractor working for the government who would hire people from other countries? Is that what it is?
Like Yemen, Uzbekistan, all those other stands, but really poor countries. And they weren't, Kuwait's a pretty rich country, and the people there, in my experience, were really nice. A lot of them were actually Christians, very liberal country for the Middle East, just no dancing, no drinking. They have a David Buster's, and it's hard because you'd go over there and they got great music playing, but there's no dancing. So you got to watch yourself.
Dance?
No dancing.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't want to find out, what the punishment was if you got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they have any other customs that, when I was in Thailand, I got to know quite a few Thai people. Of course, you didn't walk down the street hand in hand, a man and a woman. But for two guys to be walking,
Very common.
It's very common. That just shows you're my best friend.
Yeah, that's the same thing in Kuwait. That was common. With the third country nationals, you'd always see them, praying. Like we had to respect the religious beliefs, and that was fine. Yeah. I know that the second time I was there, I was during Ramadan, and I believe that's in October, and they fast during the day and eat at night. So even when we went downtown, you did not eat. You did not chew gum in the car. You had to follow that. I don't know how they did it, because if I didn't eat during the day, I wouldn't be very nice. But yeah, so you definitely follow their different customs and just try to be aware. And I think it's great because now you had those experiences, and when somebody comes up, you're a lot more accepting. It's a good thing about the military.
Yeah, you do learn visit different countries and different cultures, and like I said, the first time my friend who grabbed my hand to walk me across the street.
I bet you had a little bit of a shock.
Well, yeah, I knew it was the custom and everything, but you kind of like, what are people going to think when they see this,
Yeah.
But then you realize, you're not good old USA. You're in somebody else's country, and you should have, you know,
Abide the rules.
by their rules, and yeah.
Well, when I was in Korea, the big thing was you could never write somebody's name in red. That's what they told us, because it means like that was only for people who have died. And you really need to ask people about taking pictures, because some of the more old school people, that was taboo. Like for some reason they didn't want their pictures taken. And then, so those were things that you definitely had to pay attention to in Korea. Yeah. But it was all different, and like the space, you know, here we keep our distance, but there's no like, this is my bubble. Yeah. And they don't have targets. We're very lucky.
You didn't, how long were you in Kuwait, and then?
I was there the 2 and the 4 months, and then Korea for a year. And so when I came back home on leave and I went to Target, I'm like, look at all the options we have. We're just so lucky, all the colors, and yeah.
Did you get to learn any of the language?
I know Bali Bali Adashi means faster, faster for the taxi driver.
Is that it?
Well, because sometimes you're like trying to go somewhere. I remember that one. And I know like hello, annyeonghaseyo, and I know like Adashi, Mr. Agashi, I believe, is young miss, and then Ajima is older lady. But yeah, those are all I really remember. I like the food, but no, language is not my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I learned a little Thai when I was over in Thai. Of course, I was there almost 2 years out of 4.
Really?
Yeah, I got 2 TDYs and a PCS.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, because I was there so long, I started to learn. I knew everybody.
Yeah.
You know, head of the police and the head of the mafia. I knew them all. You know, but I don't got to say too much more. I don't want to get in trouble. Besides, this is about you, my dear, not me.
About me. Well, I didn't know any mafia or any head of the police.
You just knew to get the taxi driver going fast.
That's right. Yeah. That was important stuff. I can't remember why, but most times you try to just get a taxi driver because you like jump out in front of them trying to get one of them to stop for you. But all those.
What if they don't stop?
Well, then you would jump out the next one before you get out of their way. Yeah. But yeah, I was lucky. I was there during the World Cup in 2002. I was stationed in Utah 3.5 years. I didn't appreciate it for what it was because it was a nice duty station. And then right when they're having the Olympics, right before the Olympics, they sent me to Korea. I was a little mad at their force then. But so I missed out on going in to see any of that. All my friends who stayed got to, you know, participate and see some things.
That's good.
Yeah, good for them.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's nice to have the female veterans on the show, and if you know of any others, send them along. You know, they live in Lake County or Sumter County, because we are in Lake and Sumter, and we are on the web. So
I will spread the word.
Yes, and your family, wherever they are now, once this show airs, can see it on their computer.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Well, it's a pleasure having you on. It was nice meeting you,
and nice meeting you too.
I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You know, as a therapist, and your husband, I give him credit too.
Yeah.
You know, for the
Habitat
for Humanity.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to give you an update on some of our recent guests. My good friend Brian Anderson with USA Cares. He lives in Chicago, and if you remember Brian is a spokesperson for USA Cares. Lost 2 legs and an arm over in Iraq, but he's an amazing young man, and he just won an Emmy. He was given an Emmy out there in Chicago for his TV show. And I want to give a shout out and a salute to my buddy Brian. Nice job, and just remember, Brian, I made you. Only kidding. But we also had a lot of other events that we went to. Spruce Creek Del Webb put on a dinner for USA Cares, a fundraiser. Things like this are wonderful events that are going on. They're going on all over. Some recent ones that we did was the softball game that was played between the Wounded Warriors and some of our Olympic athletes. I got a chance to meet quite a few of the Olympic athletes, and it was a wonderful event. I wanted to share that with you and say thank you to the National Training Center and all those people up there that put that on. Also, we had a toy run, and that turned out to be very successful with our friend Big Dog and the U.S. military motorcycle group, along with A-Bay, Legion Riders. A whole bunch of them were there, and they managed to do what they wanted to do as far as raising money.
So how'd the ride turn out?
Oh, it turned out awesome. Oh, I didn't know this was live. Oh, okay. No, it turned out awesome. We met our goals. 9 years ago, we said that we wanted to put together 500 motorcycles and $20,000 worth of donations. This year, we made it.
All right. Well, congratulations. And I know that lovely lady next to you is Peg from Harley
She
Davidson.
hooked us up with Gator Harley Davidson, getting us in the function here. If you look around, this place is packed. So we love it, and I hope their business does great because our tour run did awesome.
All right.
Another event that we covered was Habitat for Humanity, which is building a house for a wounded vet over in Wildwood and going to do some transitional housing. They did a golf outing out in Mission Inn. Mission Inn accommodated them very well. I'd like to thank everybody involved with that. That is a terrific organization. We're proud to have been a part of that. Also, the USO show that was done in Leesburg, which benefited SOS, Habitat, the Veterans Memorial, and Hospice. That was a tremendous evening, and they raised some nice money to help those organizations. Note with that, those young dancers that danced in that show was totally amazing. It was a terrific effort, terrific show, and a great fundraiser. I wanted to say how proud I am to be part of this show, and how proud I am of the people that we've gotten to work with in the last year. So we're also looking to continue this. So if you want to come on Salute, if your organization or you as an individual, please give us a call. And remember, when you call, leave a number so we can call you back. So I'm going to say goodbye, my dear.
Thank you.
And to all our veterans out there, active military and their families, we salute you for all you do. Till next time. We are now entering our third year Salute here at Lakefront TV. We've had many great guests and veterans organizations share their stories with us. We'd like to hear from you too. If you're a veteran or a veterans organization, Lake Sumter counties, please give us a call. Lakefront TV can be seen all over Lake County and the villages and worldwide at lakefronttv.com.